Hello and welcome aboard the Knitty Stew podcast. My name is Leanne. I am the Knitty Stew. I'm a flight attendant here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Well, I'm based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. That's not where I am today. I come to you from various locations. The other part of my life is I'm a major yarn enthusiast, knitter, and apparently I can call myself a fiber tourist. I'm into fiber tourism, so welcome aboard. Thank you to everyone who's here, and before I go any further, I just have to say, holy smokes! According to the metrics, those who are following me and subscribing and on this channel, we're over 1,000 strong right now, and I'm like, what? Excuse me. That is cause for celebration, and I think it's just incredible. What I think is most incredible, it's not about the numbers, honestly, it's these genuine connections that have sprung up as a result of throwing myself out there on the YouTubes and bringing you guys along with me on my travels. I'm so grateful to have you all with me, and the comments and connections. I won't do a roll call, but let me just say that we're touching on all the continents right now, and every time someone says hello from somewhere, I truly appreciate it. I think it's really neat. So all these welcoming and kind and encouraging comments, and people who are also validating a lot of the things that I say, you know, it's good to know that I'm not the only one who has very interesting feelings about slip knit, for example, in my last episode. And then I've had people who are like, you know, you could try this, or how about this, or just giving me a high five in the, you know, comment sense. So what I thought I would love to do today is come at you from this lovely location, which is Ottawa, Canada. I am in my nation's capital today. So welcome to YOW. And this episode today is, I'm just so grateful. It looks like the sun might come out a little bit, but it was actually a little overcast here, so I was able to trek out, visit the Parliament buildings and then a local yarn shop, and bring you all with me. And an interesting thing, and I'm going to throw out some fun facts about Ottawa, but earlier in the week someone said they were from Ottawa, Illinois, and I was like, I guess that's just a little bit of closed-mindedness on my behalf. I didn't know there was other Ottawas. Turns out there's 4 Ottawas, cities of Ottawa, and it makes sense to me now that I Googled it further. This is how I do my research, by the way. Please don't fact check everything because this is what I do. I Googled it, and Google says the word Ottawa is from the Algonquin word Adawa, and it makes sense. It means to trade. So the other 3 Ottawas that are not in Canada, they're all in the US. There's one in Kansas, Illinois, and Ohio. And it's like they're kind of like a string of cities when you look at it on Google. So trade route. I'm learning stuff all the time. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, okay, before I start talking about what I've been up to here in my overnight city, I wanted to talk about celebrating this 1,000 subscriber friends joining me on these treks. And what I thought I would do is offer up something from my own hands. And what I've got here is some extra fine merino silk, organic merino silk, that I went into a bit of a dyeing, I went down the dyeing rabbit hole, let's just call it what it is. It's a variety of colors made with acid dyes. And last summer, I tried some natural dyeing. I found that very difficult, but also kind of cool. I don't know if I just didn't quite get the colors I was going for. So then I went into the acid dyes. So using citric acid and vinegar, took over my laundry room sink and had a really good time. And this is a one-of-a-kind skate by Leanne, the Knitty Stew. It's not quite 400 yards. It's fingering weight. I had we'll just call it a winding incident last year after it might have got a little tangled up. But the colors are inspired by the Bow River, which is the river that runs through my hometown of Calgary. And I started doing a little bit of kayaking last year, and while I was kayaking, I was blown away by the beautiful greens, blues, and just this overall lush color that reflects off the Bow River. I took a picture. So this is the picture of my hand-eye, and then that's the picture I took on the kayak of the Bow River as I floated down the Bow. We call it the Bow. So, okay, there we go. I think it kind of has a good likeness, and if you wanted to enter to win, I'll Google and figure out how to do it. I think the random comment generator, if you just put a comment below, and then I'll do a random comment generator and announce a winner in the next episode and send it out to you, because I'm so grateful to have you with me. Yes, exciting to have this many people in this community. It's just, I'm loving it a lot. And you're so warm and welcoming. I don't know. I also wanted to mention that creating this type of content has transformed the way I view my schedule and my overnights and where I'm going. And it's a real gift. It's a real gift to me. So I wanted to give back in some little way. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully I can get that going in the next episode. The key to keep doing these episodes is that I have to have enough time in the overnight city to gather content of some kind, and then hopefully be able to sit in my room like this and chat about stuff and knit, because gotta have time for knitting, right? So I'm gonna grab mine right now while we chat. And yeah, it might have to be like every few weeks that I provide a video. Depends on my schedule, and I bid for my schedule as a computer bidding system. And what I would need ideally would be anything that's an 18-hour layover or longer, because then that's time to properly rest, sleep, exercise, and get out and about if the weather's good. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get to, and I think we should be okay. So far, I've been able to get longer layovers. My Ottawa layover here is, we were a little bit late getting in last night, so I think in total I have about 26 hours here. So I slept for 8 of those, and then I went out and about cruising around for, I think I was out for a good 3 hours, and now I'm back here trying to get a knot out of the skein that I'm working on, which is really weird. Things get twisted up in my project bag sometimes as I carry them with me on the road. I don't think I've actually ever shown my project bags that I use and that I bring with me. I'm a big fan of them, and I really actually wanted to make sure I did that today, because I've been using the same type of project bag for a while. This is it's kind of that ripcord material. Like, it's slippery and slick. And they're by KnowKnits.com, and by KnowKnits it's KNOW knits.com. Come in great different colors. I'll put the link in the description if it'll let me. On my last video, my Newfoundland one, I kept writing things in the description and it wouldn't save and transfer over. So yeah, hopefully this time it'll work. I'm new to the admin stuff. Those are my 2 medium-sized, and they have this, they've got this little snappy thing, which is fun I snap it, and then I can hang it on something nearby. So if I'm knitting on board, sometimes I snap it onto a cart handle while I'm sitting in the back galley during my break, and then it just hangs there. And then for the larger projects, I think this is actually the extra large bag. Same company, same jam, and yeah, you bet, I stuffed these into my suitcases. Security has a good time with me. Sometimes they look, and other times they're just like, oh, okay, this girl just carries a lot of knitting needles. What's with this flight attendant? Yeah. I had a question, and I answered it in the comments, but a lot of people asked this same question about whether they can bring their knitting needles on board the aircraft, or will it be taken away. And the safest bet for me to answer that question is to speak to what I know. And in Canada, with our security, they will not take your knitting needles. They will not confiscate them. If you have pointy scissors, that's another story. Those will get taken away. But generally, you're safe to bring these all on board. No problemo. The one time I had to put my needles in a checked bag, and that was coming out of Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And they had a rule there where your needles could only be 6 inches, had to be less than 6 inches. It might have even been 5 inches or less. But it was super random that happened. That was a while ago. That was like, I think that might have been 2019. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I missed out on 4 hours of knitting from Cabo back to Calgary. So I was a little disappointed about that. But I had somebody ask about the European rules, and I would say the best thing to do is to, if you know what airport you're flying into, you can go onto the airport website and type in knitting needles allowed on board and find out where the security is for what the rules are for their airport. So, because that sucks. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I'm just missed out on 4 hours of knitting. So you know what I did? I scrolled through my saved patterns on my phone. That's what I did. Yep. I wanted to chat about what I'm wearing, and I do have one finished object to show you, as well as the whip that I've got in my hands here that I might have popped into the camera there. And then I have two items on the Knitty Stew queue that I am pretty excited about, and I think they're going to be pretty fun. I hope things are well where you are, whatever part of the world you're in, and you could be anywhere. Yeah. Over here in Ottawa today, the weather is perfect. As far as I'm concerned, it was 23 degrees Celsius, which Siri told me is 73 degrees Fahrenheit for my American friends, and slightly overcast. So yeah, but I still need a tea. At the end of the day, I like to wind down with a tea. I have an early check-in tomorrow. The pickup in the lobby is 5:20. Yeah, 5:20 a.m. So I will be getting up a good hour and a half before that. So I won't be staying up too late knitting today. I like to get my 8 hours before a large day. And tomorrow I will be flying from Ottawa to Toronto, Toronto to Calgary, and then deadheading, which means I'm not operating, but we're just positioning for the next flight. Then it'll be Calgary to Victoria. So flying across the country tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully it's a great day. Flying has been lovely. All right, without further ado, this is orange goodness. This is the, well, I was a little late to this party, as I can be to some parties, the knitting party. This is the Hitchhiker. It's a paid pattern by Martina Bam. Bam? I hope I said that right. I dove deep into my stash for this skein, and I did it last summer as part of the Ravelinic Games, so during the Summer Olympics. So I was knitting for Team Canada. My son actually thought, he's like, "You're on the Knitting Olympics?" Yes, dear, yes I am. Your mom's in the Knit Olympics, and it's me versus me. But I did finish this in time, and it was part of the whips wrestling, because I had it on my needles before the games began, so it was considered a work in progress. But 34,000.4 projects on Ravelry, that many knitters cannot be wrong, and I really enjoyed it. You can make as many, I guess, teeth as you want, or as your hand-dyed, which I would suggest, a beautiful hand-dyed skein of sock fingering weight yarn would allow you to get. And it wraps around nicely. It's a good little summer knit. Yeah, I highly recommend. This yarn is by Fleece Artist. So Halifax, Nova Scotia dyer. So you'll probably hear more about this person if I get a longer Halifax overnight. But yeah, I had this in my skein, I had this skein in my stash from probably 2011. So a good 10 years, and dug it out for the Ravelinic games and got her done. Have any of you guys made this? I'm sure you have. Like it was quite popular and I enjoyed it. It was potato chippy, super addictive, super fun to do. And yeah, my whip. You can't really see what I'm doing. I got a lot of colors going on here. This purple chair, orange, this t-shirt, love. Wayne Dyer, my spiritual guru, who I've read many of his books and listened to his lectures. Big fan of the late Wayne Dyer. He used to wear a shirt that said love, period. And I found this on redbubble.com. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to walk around with love on my chest. So I brought it with me today and I wore it around town. My adventure around Ottawa today started like any good adventure does, with a coffee. Popped in at Starbucks, grabbed an Americano with room so I don't scald myself. Then I walked down the road a little ways, and doesn't take long here to find something amazing. And I ran into this statue that I really liked, and it's, lo and behold, it's named Flight. So it's a bronze statue commissioned in 1966 for some sort of expo. Then I wandered down a little bit farther and saw the sandstone architecture, which I love. And this is the Bank of Canada. And I love the carvings, and yet Ottawa is so clean and sterile and glassy. Population of Ottawa is 1.4 million in 2022. The Parliament buildings are under a renovation right now. They're so stately. According to the Google machine, they are in the style of Gothic Revival architecture. They're huge, ominous, super cool. And it's just such an expanse. Everything is situated above the river valley, the Ottawa River. Fun fact, Ottawa River has an invisible provincial line that goes right through the middle. So on one side, you're in Ontario, and then cross the middle of the river and you're in Quebec. So that's Hull across the way there. Lots of schools, little tours, but I think I picked a good time to go out because first of all, I like it not too hot, and this overcast weather was perfect. And it started to get a little bit busier as it got closer to the top of the afternoon, around like, I think it was about 12:30. And I wanted to pop into the actual House of Commons, but I guess they were actually in sitting. And she's like, the volunteer there, she said, you should come back at 1:30 for question period, which would be very interesting, really cool. Of course, you can't record in there, but yeah, it would have been neat. I would like to do that sometime. What I also thought was really, really neat was the Centennial Flame Monument that they have. It was a centennial, which means 100, of course, so it celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Canadian Confederation. That flame there, lit first in 1967. It does not freeze. It goes at all times. It's natural gas. And it's really cool. It has a little stone around the statue for each of the provinces and the territories as well, and the year that they joined Confederation. So it was kind of neat. Quite enjoyed that. And I'm actually glad I chose to wander down to Parliament first, and then I put into my Google how far away it would have been to go to what the yarn store that I wanted to go to, which I planned. I was like, oh, it doesn't seem too far. It would have been a 40-minute walk, which isn't too bad, but I do like to keep my walks closer to like no more than 30 minutes with I still have my toe is still not fully healed, that's for sure. So I called a lift and I went over to Wabi-Sabi. I can't get the name right. Wabi-Sabi. And what a cool shop. Oh my goodness. They had a lot in their little space. I think it would be the perfect place for, well, knitters, spinners, weavers. And the reason I went there was to get a couple of colors for my upcoming knit. So I've decided that I'm going to make, let me just grab it here. I'm going to make the Bonnie Isle hat. So that's the, yeah, that's my next on the queue. I got an email earlier this week, I think it was on Thursday, that was talking about, they named the annual hat for the Shetland Wool Week, the patron. There we go. So that was the email I got. It was like Shetland Wool Week names the patron. And this is who it is. Lovely Linda in her Bonnie Isle hat. And I was definitely inspired. I'm a hat person through and through, and this is a nautical themed hat. Still swept up in the love that I have for the East Coast. So I had some fingering weight yarn. It calls for 5, so 50 grams of the main color and then 25 grams of the accent colors. And you need 5 colors total. So at home, and of course I carry all this stuff with me on the road. And they were very nice in the shop. They let me put it out and check my colors. So I had some Rama in the cream color. And I also have the Rana Fennel in this glorious brown, heathery brown. And I also had some of this in my stash. See, I don't always have to buy new, right? It's a British Spun Yorkshire. It's by Baramu. And it's like a dark navy, a heathered navy. Kind of looks purple in this light, but it's quite navy. Let me see if I put it next to that. And so what I found at the lovely yarn shop, Wabi-Sabi, was the Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight in this sage heathered green with just like pops of yellow kind of thing. And then look at this rust orange color. Are you feeling it? I'm totally feeling it. So I'm going to try and hold all of these. All right, there we go. Yeah, check it. I think that's going to make a delightful Bonnie Isle hat. So stay tuned for my next work in progress. So that was, yeah, that was a nice little outing. I definitely recommend the shop. They were very friendly. And the area is called Hintonburg, which seems to be like near like an Italian part of town, and they had some older buildings, a bit of revival. So yeah, it was good. It was a good little outing. Again, it was a little farther from the hotel than I like to go on my excursions, but it was worth it. And I'm really looking forward to casting on for the Bonnie Isle hat. My finished object, let me get to that. Okay, my one and only finished object for the episode. Ta-da! Okay, here we are. This is the Trolha hat. Now, I was super curious about this wool. So this is Retrosaria Brusca. In the colorway, I'm calling it Sunshine, but it's actually just 3A. It's Portuguese wool, and I had to have it. And I couldn't get this colorway anywhere, so I ordered it online. I'll put that in the show notes if you're curious to where I found it. I think it was Wool to Table. Oh, not thinking of it right now. But yeah, this is the Trolha Hat by Rosa Primar of Retrosaria. Can you see? I've got a lot. I'm looking like Easter up in here with the purple and the yellow. And it is the Trolha. So Trolha means, I googled that, of course, it means worker. So Docker Beanie, Docker Toque. Pretty fun. And literally the only reason I bought this was, I was just so curious about the wool. I'm a big fan, and I don't hide this, of Brooklyn Tweed. And the Brooklyn Tweed shelter is really pricey. It's, I think in Canadian dollars these days, it's like $20 per skein. And this is also woolen spun. And it's got the same, I don't know, sort of like felted and air spun texture. So I wanted to give it a shot and see if it was similar. And it definitely is. I would say it's a bit stronger even than the Brooklyn Tweed shelter, because I sometimes on the shelter, if I pull just a little bit too tight, it'll separate. But this one, yeah, it's very hardy, very lightweight, and I would certainly get more because it's springy, and it really blocked out nice. I did a wet block on this after I made it, and it grew an inch, which was good because I wanted to flip it up. I used less than one ball, just barely. And it could also be, I changed the decreases at the top. So the ones in the pattern seemed to be just offset a little bit, and I ended up going with a different set of decreases by Rastus shoe. The Elliott 2x2, his is a classic 2x2 beanie. I just modified his, it's a free pattern actually. It's delightful, and I just modified and did my decreases changed the stitch count, because his is fingering weight and this is worsted. And I quite like the way they look. It's got the little boop at the top. And this is my one and only finished off. So my plan was, on my last video, was to use the glorious Windswept fiber hand-dye skein that I got from Newfoundland. And you know, have you ever had wool that just, it doesn't want to be what you cast it on to be? And so I cast on for a Trolha Hat, the lovely Trolha Hat by Andrew Mowry. My hair is all messed from my hat. And 3 different times I messed up the ribbing, and it's half fisherman's rib, so it's not overly complicated. But by the 3rd time I was like, you know what, this really does not want to be a hat, this skein of yarn. So it wanted to be closer to my neck, and so guess what I cast on for? My second ranunculus. Yeah, so this part around the collar here, this was my initial brim of my Trolha Hat, and then as I went to do the body of the Trolha Hat, no, I messed it up again. So here we are, well into the body of my ranunculus. As you can see here, I've got the sleeves on waste yarn, because I think this needs to be a long sleeve one. My last one was short sleeve, and I made it out of hemp. These pops of color, this totally reminds me of St. John's. Now, here is where things get a little tricky. I have this much left, okay? And if I don't do a cropped version, this isn't quite gonna cut it. And there was no more left online at the shop where I purchased, which was called Cast On Cast Off in St. John's. And so they got in touch with Pam, the dyer behind Windswept Fibres, and she dyed up some more. And it's on her website now. She's like, no pressure. I mean, I just, you know, hand dyed a bunch more called Foggy City. And I think I might have to get it, because I so love the colors in this. And it is only my second ranunculus. I can't wait to be done this. This makes me so happy just looking at it. I kind of just want to put it on even though it's not like finished. Anyways, I was told this would happen with the ranunculus, that there would be a collection, that I would need to make more. And this is happening. But what a wonderful way to use this treasured hand-dyed sock yarn. It's just got all the happy colors. So that's all my needles. I should have some finished objects for you in my next episode. What do you think? I was flying red eyes. I can barely get a sentence out. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties with my phone. I was saying that my storage was full. Uh-oh. Just getting started on this vlogging thing. I can't be running out of space on my device. So hopefully I figure that out. It's recording right now, so hopefully that keeps going, because I have a couple other things I wanted to show you. A couple or just one? What have I got left? All right, I showed you my feral hat that's coming up. Oh, okay, hold on. It's over here. You guys don't know this about me unless you've been on my Ravelry, but I'm a big fan of toy knitting. I like to make toys. And it's actually surprising. Again, sometimes what we like and what we gravitate to is very interesting, and we're like, oh, who would have thought? But with the fiddliness of toys, I would never have guessed myself to be obsessed with toys. But I've literally knit like an entire farm for my daughter when she was young. My son asked me at one point, he wanted a doll, so I knit him a toy doll. I mean, he's 19 now. He hasn't asked me to knit him anything in quite some time. But my daughter, who I don't think watches my podcast, although she might be a subscriber, she mentioned that she needs something in her life after I shared a reel that was on Instagram of the cutest thing ever. And here it is. What? Okay, this is Frog by the incredible Claire Garland. She's known as .pebbles on Instagram and on Ravelry. There's like some reels out there that are on Instagram where people like have this frog having a picnic, wearing like a jumper, a sweater. I mean, the cuteness is almost too much to take. And when I looked at what it required for yarn, I was like, I've got that. And my daughter turns 21 on the 27th of June. And so this is going down. I brought it all with me, all the things I need to make. It is very, very detailed pattern. And I like that about her patterns for sure. Let's see, it's 24 pages. Well, so 23 technically, and then the last page is mostly just pictures. But look at this little froggy. Oh my gosh. So what I'm going to use to make this frog, look at what I've got. Okay. So again, I'm going into my stash. I've got some more Ba Ramu, and Claire suggests that you hold mohair with it. And I guess that gives it that like dreamy, the dreamy frog look. So I've got this Kid Silk by Drops. So I'm gonna hold that for the front, the chest part of the frog. And then I'm a little torn up on what to do for the body of the frog, the back of the frog, because I've got Biche in this like dark, let's just call it dark frog green. It's actually dark blue green. And then holding this brown mohair with it, dark brown mohair. Oh dear. So my phone keeps on saying it's full. I'll have to figure that out. I'll get tech support of my amazing niece and might have to clear out some videos. So I guess I'll wrap this up, but I did want to show one more thing regarding this frog that I'm gonna make for my daughter's birthday. I ordered eyes for it. This, for me, this always makes all the difference in a knitted toy. It's getting cool eyes. Look at, they're like dragon's eyes, technically they're called. They weren't very expensive. I actually got them on Amazon. How cool will that little eye be on the froggy? All right, so yeah, that was it. Biche Bouche. I was gonna use this with the Kid Silk mohair, and then I got this stuffing with me. I have 3 more days on the road, and I don't know if I'll have time to finish it, but I will work on it. In the meantime, I shall bid you adieu because I'm running out of space on my iPhone apparently. Technical difficulties. Thanks again, everybody, for trekking along with me, for traveling with me, for doing all this fiber tourism and chit-chatting. I hope you are having a great, joyful time of summer knits. I've heard lots of shawls are on the go right now, and tank tops, halter tops. Maybe you've got a little ranunculus on the go. And I really look forward to connecting with you again soon from the next overnightting city, and I'll clear up some space on my iPhone so that I can keep recording these, because I really love this community and how amazing everyone is. So until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay cool, stay in school, take care, brush your hair, all the good things. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.
Maples grow, green